Hey, welcome back with the Real with Mel Highsmith. Another wild 24 hours. Sorry about yesterday's show being short. I still have other business I have to do during the day besides the show, so I got caught up having to take care of all that. So, what everybody's wondering, the second stimulus check. Well, there's a deal that was made a couple of weeks ago, okay, on the second stimulus check, but the biggest problem, reason why it never went before the president, because you couldn't get the House of Representatives to agree on the amount. They wanted to put more money towards the post office and towards, you guessed it, mail-in voting. So the wild thing about mail-in voting is everybody knows it doesn't work, but that deal was already there. So there's some more talks this morning about it. On the stimulus that they already talked about a couple of weeks ago. So it looks like the president's going to give in a little bit, but there will be no funding for the post office or for mail-in voting. It's kind of ridiculous that the House of Representatives has left the American people hanging. Everybody's trying to paint the picture that it's actually been Donald Trump, and it's not. I can understand why any sitting president would not want to fund mail-in voting and require for it to be ID and such like that. Will Highsmith, how you doing? Glad to see you. You're always on the show. A little background on Will Highsmith. He's my nephew from up there in Arkansas. I'm glad to see him. He's a great help to me. So it looks like it's going to happen. Now, it's not hold our breath. It's going to take place in the next couple of days, but it will be taking place. I'm willing to say this, that they'll have something done by the end of the month. So that way everybody can start receiving checks in the middle of September. Now, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing is not my opinion to say, but I will tell you this. I know a lot of people here in America will be very, very happy to be able to get some type of stimulus, because everybody's been hurting pretty bad, and I think we can all feel for everybody. I definitely do. I don't care whether you're Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal. I hate that our country has been going through a nightmare in another election year. So that's just my personal get on it. So it looks like definitely the second stimulus is going to be coming out. Don't listen to all the hoopla that you're hearing on social media and such like that about, Trump or Nancy Pelosi or anything, okay? It's all definitely political, but most people are going to try to put their spin on it. The next stimulus is going to be coming. Like I told everybody last week, a whip of the pen will get some things going on, and that's exactly what happened. Once those executive orders went flying out, it actually took the media, whose darling is Nancy Pelosi, and really, for the most part, turned them on her. So now the pressure's been cranked up. So let's just see how that goes. But I definitely want to see a little bit of relief going out. To the upgrade about the 51% rule here in Texas with the Texas Alcohol and Beverage Commission. I will still say this, it is amazing, and it's still a crock of shit, but if they can get a food truck put on site, have it fixed permanently is what they're wanting, and go and file your food handler's permit, pay their fee, which is still, these little fees start building up on a business that has not made any money in the last couple of months. So with that in a nutshell, the 51% law is still in effect here in Texas. Doesn't look like Governor Abbott's going to give up on it at all. One thing, just to tell everybody, with all these movements going on, I'm part of a group to save Texas bars and Texas venues. But the more people who terrorize the governor's office, sure, your words are being heard, but it's just irritating the guy anyway. So he's just literally making it the way he is now. They're not going to stop, okay? And the deal is, with the new food handler's permit coming into the 51% bars, is now you're going to have to show all your receipts, 100% of them, so you can verify that that's actually the case. We can only hope that this nightmare that we've seen on the economy of Texas is going to end soon, but I don't know if it will. So let's just not hold our breaths on it. I don't think that any time before the election that Governor Abbott's gonna, and it's just my opinion, again, I'm not looking up any facts on it, just for the stuff I've read, I don't think Governor Abbott's gonna let up on this at all, okay? It's advantageous for a Democratic win, across the board in Texas, and I honestly think that's what he's trying to get, or he's scared of the Democrats in the first place, which you got to be, because they'll send a lot of rioters to your town and burn your city to the ground if you don't agree with them. So with the 51% rule, I don't think it's going to let up. Now, I have heard of a lot of people that be giving up their TABC license for BYOB, that's bring your own booze, okay? It's an old term, most of us know it from our high school parties. So going to BYOB and just having get-togethers and just getting donations. I think that's a good thing. I do not think that venues and establishments should have any third-party entity over the top of them already when they're doing business and paying such erroneous taxes to the state and to the cities that they operate in. Because most of the cities they operate in have hotel tax, you know, so our hotel and venue tax, which is tough on a lot of people. So these venue owners, you know, so when somebody tells you they own a bar, don't consider them being filthy rich. These guys are paying out the yin yang just to make us all happy to go out, okay? So with that said right there, there's something that it's a touchy subject with some, but to me it's very important. And it's hashtag Save Our Kids. It's very sad that we live in a society that forgets about the children. I'm, for one, Mel Highsmith. Children stay forefront of my thought. I'm a father and I have grandkids. So here comes the big question. How can society as a whole even live with thinking about a guy named Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine, if I'm saying her name, Ghislaine Maxwell? It turns out these people who are very sick, and I wonder myself why we don't hear any of this in the news. I mean, there's a good reason. I think we all know what it is, okay? There's so many other people that's been involved with it, and they don't want it uncovered. It's kind of like that family member that everybody got, but no one wants to admit they have it, and they leave the room when anybody starts talking about them. But a lot of families do have that family member. So you got Jeffrey Epstein and celebrities all across the world, and they're literally nabbing young girls, coercing them, however they're doing it, and they're flying out, he's dead now, but flying them out to his own private island so the super elite people of our grand and beautiful planet Earth can have their fantasies. It is sad that a child has to go through something like this. We as the American people need to put our foot down and say we will not deal with anybody who hurts children. You know, I can imagine whether the parents of Jeffrey Epstein were sick individuals also. I can imagine they're rolling over their grave for what their son became. It's a tough one to talk about. You know, our future are our children, so to sit here and talk to all of y'all about a sick individual named Jeffrey Epstein is pretty tough, man. I can only think of what these young girls and young boys went through when they were flown halfway across the world, taken to a virtual child prison and subjected to the things they've done. One of the biggest things that breaks my heart is we've all seen the pictures of every celebrity on earth with this sick son of a bitch. This sick man, excuse me. But here's the thing, the stuff he did was well after he was a billionaire. But before he was a billionaire, he was just kissing everybody's hind pot to be able to do what he could, okay? So, but we've seen some high people, even the royal family of England itself. So can you imagine living in a world that nothing's reported about these sick individuals who are hurting children, okay? But everything's reported about a man who's trying to help the Americans and don't even get paid to do it. So just in short, it's wild. I use the camera and I gotta adjust my cap because I'm shooting it in reverse. So, but back to Jeffrey Epstein. So here's a man that's paid millions of dollars to have children, and I'm pretty sure they've been abducted. I think there's a lot of children that we don't even know about. You know, there's a lot of people that run away from their homes and just fall through the system. And so that's why every episode I always ask you, where are the children? Not only the ones that have been in the riots and that society or, 50% of the society and media has been happy with it. Not worrying about all the rioters' children, but where are all the children that this man, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and I'm not going to say out any other names, but where are they at? Where are they at? So Connie, you're coming in. Let's get out and vote Democrat or Republican, but I'm thinking Donald Trump has won 2022, Joe Biden and Miss Harris. Connie, let me tell you something. I'm going to go back to the Jeffrey Epstein stuff in a second, but I'll answer that. I think that Donald Trump wins this, unless it goes to mail-in voting. If it goes to mail-in voting, fraud, as usual, is the Democrats' mainstay. That's their bread and butter. So Mel Highsmith, here's the interesting fact. It wasn't just that island. There's more places out there like that. I do, William. I was just using the island as a talking point. That's the only thing that many of the news has said in a lot of things. There's places all over America. I mean, shame on anybody. Straight up, shame. I mean, these people need to be prosecuted and given the death penalty. There's no other option. You cannot rape the children. I mean, I saw the thing and I'll say one name, Oprah Winfrey. She made a horrible statement that made me sick and brought tears to my eyes the other day. Iced tea, not whiskey. So she made a horrible statement a couple of weeks back. She said that if an underage child is touched in the right way by an adult, that they could enjoy it and they would not believe that they were molested. That's the type of sick individual that I'm talking about, okay? That's me as a man. That's my opinion. That's sick, okay? So, if that tells you anything, Mel Highsmith, it is all over the world. It's everywhere. We have to draw a line in the sand to protect our children. Some people, when they watch this show, may not like what I say. A lot of people, I get complaints. I get people telling me that I should run for every office around me, and I have other people who just say that I am the disdain of society. But I'm going to speak my opinion, not my opinion, but the truth of my opinion, okay? Because we all have one. My Constitution, because I'm born in America, the Constitution gives me those rights, okay? That's the benefit of being an American. I mean, sure, a lot of people in the world right now would say, damn, I wouldn't want to be an American. They're cool with children being molested, and pedophiles, and the robbery of the American people's money, and it's just absolutely crazy that anybody would be cool with that. But as an American, I believe I have the right of choice. So, answering both Connie and Mel Highsmith. Connie, without voting, okay, if Donald Trump loses, the people who perpetrated the pain upon these children with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and all the other sick people of this world, they're going to walk free. They're going to walk free. And they're going to hurt. So you two gentlemen, think of your children. Because these sickos can grab your children and grab any of our children. They don't care. And they have the money to make sure it goes away. As you're seeing, some of that money is paying for an election and a coup against the President of the United States. Why, okay, Connie, you say, why would Oprah Winfrey say that? And the word is that she was molested by her. I know. Go in there and you can find the videos, man. It's just videos I found on YouTube, and it's crazy. It's just crazy. Ghislaine Maxwell, sick lady. But all these people are so far above us financially that their world is different. I guess their scope of pleasure is not what the normal person is into. So I'll tell you this, Tom Hanks was one of my heroes until all this stuff came out. I mean, that guy, I thought he shit roses. But I was brokenhearted to find out. So I was even just as brokenhearted to find out that Oprah Winfrey was in on it too. But when you're building your company from the ground up and become the first female African-American billionaire, you're going to be saying anything. You're going to be saying anything. So nothing against Tom Hanks and Oprah Winfrey, these people, but they got problems, man. So if we don't get out and vote and we don't stop the onslaught right now, what's going to happen is these people, everybody's going to be held accountable. Am I saying that Oprah Winfrey's going to jail? No. It's not what I'm saying. Not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is, if Trump wins in 2020, the people behind it are going to be prosecuted. They need to be dealt with because we don't need them in society anymore. Their concept of society is hurting our children. So I'll say it again. Hashtag save our children. Save our children. Hashtag save our children. You see it on all my posts after the shows. Janet Hasty Dawson, how you doing? Glad to see you're on the show. So it's a wild thing that we're now living in the times to where children themselves can no longer be safe. To where you've had runaways it's been happening for a long time. A lot of teenagers. We all sure didn't like when our mother didn't let us go somewheres, or our dad busted our hind pots because we didn't want to do our spelling work. So we all thought, oh, we're just going to run away. Well, some of these kids do. And these sick individuals like Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, I hope I'm saying their first name right, but I really don't care. The woman's evil. Ghislaine Maxwell, they prey upon that, okay? And I've said a couple of times that without the American family, if it's broken up and destroyed, there is no America, because we lose our backbone. Our children are our future. So please, when you go out and vote with your conscience. Connie O, what I like about what you put real questions on here every time, just like Will Highsmith has. And, it's regardless if you're a Democrat or a Republican. Go out and vote. Because I tell you what, we have homeless everywhere in America. But here's what we got. We got a lady who's Speaker of the House, and she has a city with the largest unemployment. Okay? I mean, I didn't think anything was going to rival Chicago. And then you got another lady who's, Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris, one's senator, one's congresswoman of the same area. So that's just my basic reading right there. So read up on that. Find out the best information you can. See where you see states that are destroyed. A good example is when Bill Clinton became president of the United States. He was from Arkansas, which was dead last in economy, dead last in education, dead last in healthcare. It was dead last just about anything. And he was also dealing back then with a massive methamphetamine epidemic also. So how does a man who's from the state that's dead last in almost every category become president of the United States? By wooing the public. A lot of people don't ask what people do when they go home from work. People like Jeffrey Epstein, evidently, after he goes to work making, some more money, he goes home and molests girls that are brought to him from a ring that's all around the country, around the world. So, what I announced earlier on the promo about the show, when I said this, I said I was going to blow everybody's minds. So I'm going to ask this question. Hashtag save our children. Be that advocate. Be that person that makes the difference in your community, to change everything. Will Highsmith, you're responding, look at everyone that has mysteriously died over this. Oh, no doubt. These people are fighting hard to cover their tracks. The saddest thing is I find it hard to believe that anybody commits suicide by shooting themselves 2 times in the back of the head, rolling themselves up in a carpet, putting themselves in the plane, and dropping themselves in Bermuda Triangle. That was a pun to what you just said, and I know it's a little bit out of taste, but it's the truth. We're not sick people. We don't ever imagine having to cover our tracks because we just molested 3 doors down from us in our neighborhood, abducted their daughter and took them to an island and did unspeakable acts to this young girl, and then send her back home and then unleash her onto the population. Since her mind's been destroyed and she's been raped and, oh my God. It sickens my stomach, but I had to talk about it on the show to get it out so everybody could hear it. So we all have the choice. Okay, let's do something in our community. Do what Connie O said up there, okay, and go out and vote. If you don't vote in your local area, you're not going to make a difference. You're just not, okay? We can all change it. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you have a responsibility. My responsibility as a voter in this country is getting somebody in the office that represents me and mine with a level head on their shoulders. I don't want anybody who's, been accused of raping women, inappropriate with children. Why would anybody want something like that as their president? Okay? I mean, just think about it. If you take the sicko Jeffrey Epstein and then you look at all the videos that are out there, it's kind of hard to doctor a video when it shows Joe Biden putting his hand on the breast of a young girl. It makes no sense to me how anybody can sit there and stand with a good conscience and say that is what I want to run the future for my children. This is not a soapbox, it is just the truth. Me as a father in this world, the greatest gift I was ever given by the dear Lord above us was my children. Because I knew if I taught them right, they would grow up in a society and leave a legacy for their kids and so on and so forth. And to think that there's monsters out there that people allow, like Jeffrey Epstein, it just breaks my heart. It really does. I wish I could sit here and name a lot of names. I'll tell you right now, there's 140 prominent names on that list. And it will make you sick. And when you're done vomiting, you're going to cry. Because these are people that you and I and everybody else believed in. So once again, I ask you this question. Hashtag save our children. We can make a difference as a group of human beings. A lot of times, these episodes, this is episode 20, okay? Because it's a daily show, we're pumping them out pretty quick. So, every day, I've sat here in front of everybody to talk about the stimulus checks. We finally got the news out that it's going to be here. I've told everybody, I'm Trump 2020. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? I was born in South Texas. I was born actually in North Texas. I live here in Central Texas, excuse me. Okay, so I'm not going to think like somebody from up north or the East Coast or the West Coast. I'm going to believe in, the good old boy. Everybody goes out, get a job, support their family. You can buy your guns. And by the way, I got plenty of guns. No doubt. And that's red blood that goes through my veins. So, red-blooded American, but being from right here in beautiful old Texas. So, we all have the choice. Don't matter where you come from. I try to give a lot of background on myself because a lot of people don't know who I am. But I will tell you this. Being a native Texan, when I got on the computer this morning and I looked up the registry, where all my sex offenders that are around me in the county and the surrounding counties, it blew my mind. There should be a special island out in the middle of the ocean, just like Jeffrey Epstein's, that if you have child molesters or just say pedophiles, that's where they should be sent. Live their lives out. Because it's a sad day that we all got to live in neighborhoods, and when we know that there's a chance that our children could be hurt at any time. During this pandemic, the coronavirus, and I'll say it again, God bless you if I upset anybody when I tell them it's a 99.6% chance of living. Okay? But during these tough times of the COVID-19, okay, it has been hard on all of us. Husbands and wives are arguing every day. Fathers are depressed because they've lost their jobs. For the ones who couldn't get the awesome unemployment. I mean, people are bragging about what America gives in unemployment. So it's stressed mothers out. It's ruined marriages. It's broken families apart. So when all this happened, I always ask this question, where are the children? It's sad when you got one of the richest men or actually I think he is the richest man on the planet. No, it's Bezos. Bill Gates, second richest man on there. A man himself who could almost single-handedly wipe out hunger in third world countries. That his own concern is coronavirus. Coronavirus. That's his only concern. He's not concerned with the hundreds and thousands and possibly millions of young women who have been abducted in the United States and countries across the world. So while we're all focused on the coronavirus, what about the children? You know, you see these young teenagers in these cities that are running around rioting and looting. That's a perfect environment to snatch people up. I don't think it's over if we don't get to the polls and we don't win red, okay? Donald Trump is, if he does not become the next president of the United States, the Jeffrey Epstein, it's gonna go away, okay? Remember, he was already arrested once while Obama was in office. And he got 17 months. 17 months. Connie O, you responded right here. Killing one another, Chicago people are killing another. It breaks my heart, you know, and that's the politics up there in Chicago. That is a Democratic bastion, and that's what they want. They want brother against brother, okay? And that's the saddest thing. We should not, in the African American community, I mean, my God. You know, I'm a Highsmith. I come from a very, very large family. 60% of us are African American. And it freaks me out that in these cities that they promote this. I'm a true believer through education, okay? Through education. Make sure everybody gets a fair education, not a biased education, that in the long run, we can stop this all. When you have no opportunity in a city just like Chicago, and you have no opportunity there, so your only thing is to grow up to make any type of money, is violence. You know, there was probably some pilots that's lost their lives in Chicago. There's probably some ministers, professors, scientists, judges, prosecutors, police officers, first responders. All their lights were snuffed out because of the policy up there in Chicago. And it's in cities here in Texas too, but it's pretty bad in Chicago. Because the policies up in Chicago that the politicians just they don't give a shit. They don't care. It is about getting what they want. Well, let me tell you this. We're all one people, we're Americans. And I refuse to believe otherwise. I believe on the day when I was born, I was equal to everybody. But I grew up, I couldn't see what that emojicon was there, William. But, you know, I refuse to believe that the Democrats that are in charge of Chicago or any of these large Democratic bastion cities, they just don't care. And Connie, it's not going to change until we can get people themselves, our people, to change our minds. The violence is not the answer. I mean, if I was running Chicago, I mean, that city's so run down. I have a jobs program, keeping everybody employed. I mean, you have a third of that city that's almost uninhabitable. Can you imagine the days, go back to the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and 60s, you know, before the Democrats really got a hold of Chicago. I mean, that city was the bustling hub of America. And now, all we can do is just say, we're ashamed of Chicago. You know, somebody asks you about Chicago, America. I don't know what you're talking about. But I care. And I hear you on that, Connie. I care about all the people of America. That's all that's ever mattered to me. So, you know, it's a hard line. So, in the end, I'm going to say this hashtag, that's the tic-tac-toe sign. Save our children. Let's make a difference. And remember, this year, all 435 members of the House of Congress, and that includes Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, are all up for re-election. So get out, get the vote. You can find more episodes of The Real with Mel Highsmith. You can catch me on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. Please join it. That's The Real with Mel Highsmith. We have the regular page, The Real with Mel Highsmith on Facebook. You can find me at Mel Pond Guy Highsmith on Facebook. Although I do not approve all my friends. You know what I mean? But I will. There's a chance I'll always pretty few. Myrna Taylor Luther, I'm so grateful that I got to see Chicago in the 80s as a teenager. It's, right, it's so different. It's so different. Will Highsmith, you put on here, most major cities right now are like Detroit and RoboCop the movie. I know. Connie Yo, and come down in Jackson, Mississippi and buy some scrap gold. We got it for cheap. You know, we're up here. I would love to get there to see everybody. But I'll be honest with you, Connie, I'm probably one of the most busiest people you ever met in your life. I don't get too much downtime. Myrna Taylor Luther, thank you, Mel. My first time joining in. Loved it. Well, thank you very much. You can check out all my episodes on The Real with Mel Highsmith on Facebook, and we're loading new stuff up to YouTube every day. And some great talking points. I encourage all of y'all to go on those sites and please leave your statements. Send me messages, because your word matters. Your opinion matters. This show's not just about me, it's about the people too. That's why it's called The Real. It's an ocean full of people, okay? So I tell you, until next time, this is Mel Highsmith with The Real. You can see me on societyradio.com, and I will see y'all later. Myrna Taylor, you said I was in Lago Vista. My younger brother lives in Lago Vista. Love the town. I used to live there. Spend a lot of time on Lake Travis. But guys, I got to go, and we'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. on The Real with Mel Highsmith. Y'all take it easy.